Hello. I am
Hi,
meeting right now with KC. Hello, KC.
hi Jade. Hi Jade. Thank you for having me on your platform. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. The award winning board game designer, runner of games, and the founder of the African Board Game Festival. Did I get all that correct? I know that there's more too.
Yes, yes, you did. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Great. So, you just won a major award, and I saw it on all of the board game platforms. But I've been watching the Kickstarter. I've been watching some other things that you've been doing. And I was like,
Mm,
I need to talk to him.
like I have no I like even like I told you just before we started. This is so surreal. Like everyone in the team, this award is obviously it's not just mine. It belongs to everyone. Like there are a couple of there is a been now who've been making games since 2016. There are times when we used to watch. Then uh, to be honest, my side is more product design. I make the first prototype, the materials we have, but there are people who must produce, and we've been doing it since 2016. And we'll put on YouTube and we'll all be watching. What do we have? So, like I said, this award it belongs to all of us, and up till now, we'll be chatting on WhatsApp like, whoa, we're gonna like what we are talking about is happening. So that kind of feeling. Uh, just say how much the award means to us. And it's something I would always be grateful for. It kind of boom. Everybody now understands that this means something. So when you
Hmm.
keep saying it, yes, there's an industry, there's a board game, there's a tabletop game industry. It's enough to secure your livelihood, and it's also enough to help children learn well, and it's still enough for you to have fun with. Like, no. But now, more people than before are still listening, and so it's good. It's good.
It's good. It brings attention to what you're doing, and then what you want to see in Abuja, and then beyond Abuja. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about how. So where does all of this begin? So we know that you're the award winning KC. So so where does all of this start?
Uh, uh, so it started uh 20, 2013. Up until recently, when people ask me this question, I usually say it's boredom that started it, right? It's easier, it's actually poetic to say it was boredom that started it, but every day when I keep answering it and with all this happening, I keep reflecting, why did I design again? Now, the reality is this: in 2013, and that is fact, there was the ASU strike, which is kind of common. It's sad, but it's common, where university lecturers will kind of not stop teaching because government haven't paid them or paid
Okay.
them properly or fully. So they will stop teaching. So it happened in 2013, and for 6 months, there was no school. But it wasn't like, hey guys, for 6 months we won't be coming to school until government tells us. It was more of next week we will begin classes.
Mm.
So we couldn't travel. Now after next week, oh, next 2 weeks, oh, there's a meeting with the government, and now next month. So that was what how it was happening. But along the line, we were getting bored of activities. We couldn't travel home, couldn't make good plans because you're not sure if you travel out of school campus or you'll be asked to come back. So it was more,
Mhm.
well, let's do swimming. We did swimming and we were tired. Let's do. We were just coming up with ideas, and then there was this place occasionally I could go play electronic games, PS2 at the time, and then I had this doctor friend, medical student from Cameroon, and we lived in the same lodge. Uh, you know, Not a stereotype, but medical students are like bookworm. Like they read a lot of books, textbook, this much.
Uh-huh.
And me, I was in social sciences, so I had free time. I love doing activities, stuff. And I just, he wanted something long and that could take his mind in, and he didn't want that. He wanted something that could just soak him in for a couple of hours. And I said, you know what? I'll design again for you. That was that statement, and I've given myself that. And up to that day, I'd never seen any modern game. It was just regular Ludo, chess, Monopoly, Scrabble, draft. We call draft. Mancala, we call Mancala Ayo on show. And then there's
Mhm.
Snake and Ladder. So these were literally the games that you could find anywhere in Nigeria, unless you have a cousin who's from the States or from UK and coming back with games, and
Okay.
it's not for sale. And I had never seen any game. Ah, so I just designed that first game. It's called Kubwa. I remember it was on cardboard. We used stones. We used dice from Ludo. This was 2013. Just to tell you, this is not 60 years ago. This is just a couple of years to tell you the market we have. Look, I don't know how to express it. It's barely barely. And then because
Mhm.
I couldn't find where to get dice or tokens, it was in 2016 that I saw a dice set for the first time. And it was a
Mhm.
gift from a friend. And most people that come into the cafe, everybody that's come into the cafe has never seen a dice set until the one they saw here. And then the dice store and also. So I remember we played the Kuba, we were now playing it in the compound then, in campus. And after, when strike was called off, we never played it again. We
Mhm.
just talked about all the things that happened in 6 months. People were more serious, a lot of courses to cover, things that are being jam packed. You know how university life will be. And the next time I opened that game was, but I carried it about because I left school and I carried the cardboard about for 2 years. And in those 2 years, I have changed locations twice, but I always carried it. But I never showed it to anyone until I joined a team where I volunteered for a team, a project, an education project, where there were young people from UK, young people from Kenya, and then young people from Nigeria. So that provided the best atmosphere. Like there were cultural exchange, and obviously, even with obviously the British love playing games, sit down kind of conversations, and then so
Mhm.
they brought our culture, we brought ours, and then I think it was there that I knew the value of what I had. Up until then, nobody valued it. So it was, whoa, you designed the game, that's huge, basic. You make another one for us. This one is a big long, and remember I did it so it's supposed to be long. So they said make another one for us. I made another one, and to them, to me, it didn't cost me anything. I didn't need. It was okay. I'm going to design again for you guys. It gives me like a week. But for them, it was huge. Like it's something that people actually get paid for, or people even take years to make this game. And I actually did one from called EJ. The narrative is from a Nigerian movie that was popular when we were kids, and they
Mhm.
played it. And I did three within the 3 months, and all of these were prototypes. It was more of sketch, using components from other games, but we are having
Mhm.
fun. So I think that
Mhm.
was in 2015. So that was how all of this started. So after that interaction, I said at that time, with the guidance, I started checking Facebook to see board game groups, started checking Google to see monsters, went to YouTube and saw that there was a whole world out there,
Mhm.
like, and it didn't exist. So at that time, it was more of, okay, I'm a designer, I think. Let me look for studios and places to make them. And I trekked the whole of Lagos. Oh my. And if anything you can't find in Lagos, you can't find. I, I'm not boasting, but anything you can't find in Lagos, it might be very hard to find anywhere in Africa.
You
Anything you can't find in Lagos,
you
that's in the whole of
Okay.
Africa. I'm being very honest because it's that is huge. It's huge. I trek, I search. Nobody. I went to the biggest printing houses. I went to the smallest ones. No studio. So that was where the idea started filtering. But it took
Mhm.
about 3 more years for it to start coming back to life and keep it like this. So that's how Nika started.
So in there, I heard um, a medical student friend who was a bookworm.
Leslie, I'm sorry.
Well,
I apologize.
I have a few friends that were medical students, and yes, no, I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Oh my.
But
Ah,
trying
really?
trying to create something that was um, leisure, but also could engage the mind, and then trying to create something so that people could sit at a table and exchange. And so those are the things that I took away from what you said, that and the reason why you created those games is important. The ability to sit down at the table and have a conversation that goes beyond the game is really sort of the point of playing the game. And that's beautiful that you were able to create that with very limited supplies. So what has changed since then? So you were looking for all the components, you were looking for studios that didn't exist. So
Well,
now what?
a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Now, I can pinpoint people who I could say, oh, these are game masters. So we have this definition of game masters. It's not, to be honest, it's something that we've developed to support our community, and we hope it inspires other communities, even within Nigeria. So we try to find a game master as someone who has played and has taught 25 different games to people. Why this is limiting is that I'm not sure after Abuja there are other. Okay, we have only here in Abuja we do see this access of games, so it's limiting for some people. Maybe they are interested, but they don't have things to teach people. So that's why we've limited it to just our own community. But now I can pinpoint people who are game masters who have played up to 100 games, who have taught over 50 of these games. Right? It did not exist last year, just last year, right? And the year before was even worse. Now we have four independent cafes across Nigeria, two in Abuja and two in different states. It did not exist before. And we have a lot of game nights popping up. When I started, it was so in 2017, I discovered that there's actually a Nigerian game veteran, like a game designer. In fact, he published his game when I was a year old in
Oh wow.
1993. Exactly. So, and I was fortunate to meet him. We discussed. He obviously he shared a lot with me. He talked about how the internet is playing a very key role. This was in 2017, and he knows this will even grow bigger. Uh, he talked about some of the challenges he had. We have his game here in Cafe. Who wants to be president? No. He was also the pioneer of people who started Nollywood. Counterpart of Hollywood in Nigeria. So, but they
Mhm.
had to make a decision which to go for at the time. But now the internet is playing a key role in making this sector come up, which is true. So, but from 2017 to in fact last year, Nibi Card Games manufactured 8 games for clients, not my own games, 8 games for clients, and this year we've done 12 already. So you can see that there is growth. So a lot has changed. People, everyone that comes starts with, whoa, thank God you guys exist. I've been looking for it. Just basically the same thing I was doing in 2015. Now we have dice in stock so people can see. We we do stuff. We just try to encourage it, and not just within our own environment, but we even donate games. Once we see that, oh, we started something, and we've checked, we have some metrics we use to measure. So it's not some we just want to.
Mhm.
But once
Mhm.
we've seen that, okay, your good deal, we'll donate games to you, and we'll tell you things, and so that's things, and we also link up people to opportunities. So a lot has changed from 2015 till now, and with this award, the recent article of CNN, there has been like it's popping up, like more people want to get involved, more people are saying, okay, maybe there is something here, and we welcome all of this stuff. So a lot has changed.
That's great. So what is the if we yeah, see I've already taken us to Abuja. So so when we come to Abuja, what are we going to see in the board game cafe? What's it like?
um, I could show you if you want, but because I'm currently in the cafe. So the cafe, what started off as a cafe, it's actually a story on it. So 2018, we up until 2018, we used to carry box of games to lounges and to cafes around Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and then we tell people who are interested to play. Well, 2018 we decided to do Kickstarter. It was Indiegogo, Indiegogo at the time, and we did
Mm-hmm.
an Indiegogo campaign where for our backers, anyone that backed us, we reward them with um, um, some of our games then. And to be honest, I'm very grateful to everyone who backed because to be honest, the quality of our game now and the quality of our game then, whoa, whoa, yeah, there is it, it's sorry, thank you guys. Like the people backed us, and we so it wasn't more of the game. They backed us honestly because we were trying to sell the cafe, and then we had people, companies like Brooklyn Games. So yeah, I don't know if I should mention names of Brooklyn Games Lab and Bo from Basa Games Cafe. Really very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because in honest truth was that I did a very poor calculation on how that would have said it wouldn't have for Bringing Games Cafe matched it and matched what exact more than what we are looking for to meet up what we wanted to set up. And then Bo um, did a board game drive and got us over 200 games thanks to Nigeria, which had its own issue with custom. Whoa, because and that's another huge stumbling block we are currently working on. So the what the Nigerian government defined as board game is chess, Scrabble, Monopoly. Maybe
Okay.
not the Nigerian government. It's the personnel who are representing the government. So once they see board game on a document, they increase the custom immediately because they assume that there is enough chess and Scrabble and Ludo, and the people who import them already pay tax. So why buy it outside the country? So that's one of the conversations that we want to start having at the higher level, federal level, so that they recognize that board game is not one product. It's
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So we had a lot of issues. So right, we started a cafe, right? But along the line, it changed. It's no longer a cafe. It's more of a hub because we don't sell anything. We don't sell food or drinks anymore. We used to, but we stopped. And and then there are a lot of play testing that happens. A lot of people who come and play their own games. So it's now a hub, but it's also we maintain that it's a cafe. Hopefully one day we'll continue to sell. But now it's more of there's community building in, people are watching themselves and all of it.
That's great. That's great. So, how many games are in your current library?
We have I don't have the exact number now. Sorry.
Okay.
We have 65 Nigerian games and over 315 foreign games uh,
Okay.
currently.
Okay. Um. So, what do you see? What do you want to see with just the cafe?
With just the cafe.
Yeah, because Nib Card is the publishing company for games that you have.
Yeah.
So what do you see? Because that's a separate question.
Yep. Yep.
What do you want
So,
to see with the cafe?
okay. To be honest, I want to see memories, good memories come out from the cafe.
Mm,
Right? Like so many good memories. For instance, we've had two people propose in the cafe, right? So one is to say, and they both said yes. One was surprised, and it's interesting because it was the lady that invited the guy the first time. Guy now saw that the lady loves to play game, and then he now proposed. Then the other one was a bit planned. He was decorating and all of this. But we want a situation where people will be telling their grandchildren how it was in a cafe with games around that they pop up the question. We want people who will be winning award about from designing a game saying, "Oh my, the first time I even saw a game to play was in a Nika Games Cafe. Maybe not this, or maybe some other Nika Games Cafe in one of the African countries, not just Nigeria." So we want those memories are things that we want people if like people come in and say, "Whoa, what is this?" And then I tell them this is a dice tower. I say, wait. And I now open my phone to Google and I show them more fancy one because this is DIY. And they're like, whoa. And then we start conversation and I start telling them about Spiel that, like over 200,000 people gathered in one city because of games. And that is like Wembley Stadium times two. Like if In Nigeria, there's no stadium that is up to 60,000. Then like, imagine this particular stadium times two, times three, times four, coming to just play game, and then so and the interest. For instance, this game master store we started, and people come in and they want to now teach people games. Oh, like
Mm.
okay, okay, because there are incentives. I would say if your name goes to the board, you will never pay once you enter to any state Nika games cafe. So that happens like, you know what? I'm going to invite my friends and I'll teach them 3 games a day so that they will meet up the minimum requirements of being a game master. So all of these are things that 50 years from now, if I'm meeting someone, person will tell me their experience. No, these are experiences I've witnessed. They're also the ones that I've not witnessed that people have created among themselves. And if they are sharing it, it's Nibi Card games, cafe, Nibi Card games, cafe. That's what we are always working towards.
Okay. So Nib Card Cafe in every major city on the continent of Africa.
Yes,
Yes, yes. So yeah, you have to keep a. You, does anybody did you put that in the press about the weddings, the proposals? Because
oh,
that's a good
oh,
story. People
and then
meeting and then getting married. Yeah.
yeah, we've had over 10 bridal showers, more than 10 bridal showers. Like
Oh
people do that.
wow.
Instead of doing it somewhere else, they want to do it in the cafe. They play games and then the next day they're married. There's over 10, and it's really good. And most are now based on recommendation. Oh, I did, and I'm yeah. There are a lot of pictures on social media. So.
Well, and that's I identify with that, not the bridal starter part, but the wanting to do something in a social engagement that you wouldn't necessarily normally do. I think that people are looking for new ways to engage, and modern board games are one way to do that
Yeah,
to to bring new people in and to have conversation, but also you're learning new things with games. So can you talk about the games that you develop for Nibcard? What just a couple of titles, and what are the themes of those games, and why were you creating them?
okay. I've designed games. I'll just know you know how difficult it's going to be. I have 36 that are out. So now you're asking me to pick a few from 36, and I will do just that. I'll pick four. But I've designed games because of need, and I've designed games because I just have to tell that story. And I've also designed games that I just want it to be here, but that story is not complete. I just want you to know that this story is coming. Yeah? So
Mhm.
for the ones I've designed for need was my background until I resigned from my job, like I told you, was in development. So from volunteering, I said, and it was an education project. So I started seeing need for educational games. And so it influenced the first set of games we designed. So games like Luku Luku and Umbako. So these are purely education games. But you'll be having a lot of fun, but you'll be learning stuff directly. Then I've designed a game like Battle of Adrika. So Battle of Adrika is what I said. So I was just thinking, what could have happened if the Berlin conference was not successful, right? The
Mm.
scramble for Africa, what could have happened? We would have come to a battle. So there's this day, it's area control and elimination game as well, where you have your task on which part of Adrika to secure, and you now have to fight. So you see colonials fighting themselves for Africa land. So that is Battle of Adrika. And then there's also Village War. Village War is a mix of, I'm from the Igbo culture. It's a mix of history, fantasy, and our current reality, or more like trajectory
Mm.
mixed together. And we currently have um, game part one, part two, part three, part four, part five. Only one is out. But it's a game that I involve stuff, magic, everything. And I'm actually looking forward. And it is a full universe story that every day we talk about. Well, almost every day we talk about the story and involving. Like Village War, there's one touch. It's a dexterity game where it's a combination of the street football we used to play when we were kids, another game when we used to play. Just 2 games we used to play when we were kids. So the street football, I brought it on the board, and then we used the concept of button and pen. We used to play in school, so we pull out our button, and then we use pen to strike. And so we use it to connect, build that game. and which are so many, and now I'm confused. I don't want to not mention one.
Did you mention my? Is it
Okay,
my
so
world trip?
oh yes, then my world trip was like I said again, they are games that were designed because of me. So my world trip was designed. It was funded by the IOM, International Office for Migration, West African region. So it was a project that was supposed to raise awareness in schools using games. But then we had just started the project in February, and there was the lockdown in March
Mm,
last year. So we had to now change the whole project. We designed the game My Watch, but we couldn't go to schools anymore. So we made it online. So there's open source, like to get it for free, and how to make them as well. So My Watch Trip is the story behind. It's a file placement game, but the story behind it is that um, the player, you're an alien who has been living in the world secretly, but the world leaders know about your existence, but they don't want to announce. But now the destroyer of the world is coming to Earth, and this destroyer is the same one that destroyed your own world. And now you've been called up to take two human scientists to a location. And this location, you can now change the game afterwards. It could be in any of the continents, and it tells us into the learning. And I'll talk about it later. So you have to take these sciences through countries, which are each style represents each country, and they are wavelength. So human beings cannot move into those countries. It's not possible. But aliens have superpowers, so they can move through wavelines, jumping countries to countries, which is now the game mechanics to be able to take the human scientists to the machine that can destroy the destroyer of worlds. But you're not the only alien apparently in on Earth. So it's now more like a race on who is going to make the world leaders proud and take the human sciences. But when you're playing the game, what you're supposed to do for kids who the game was originally designed for was as you're playing the game, it doesn't matter anymore which country. And one of the migration issues are that people don't know there are particular countries that we know about, and that's because of how media has positioned it. And that's now
mhm.
making a lot of people from childhood are already dreaming of which country they want to go to, and it's just the same particular country. But how about playing a game now? You do, there are extra points you gather when you play countries of a particular continent. So when you're playing all of this, subconsciously you're learning new countries that I did not even know existed until we started making research. So from that, board game are not supposed to teach you everything at the same time, but it has
Mhm.
already started curiosity. Maybe tomorrow you read about that country in a book or you saw it in a TV, it piques your interest because that's what kids are like. So that's what the game is supposed to do to expose
Right.
countries to players. Sorry if I'm just talking a lot. I'd love to talk about this.
No, no, that's great. So that we know what the game is about. Everything that you talk about, education is at the core. Education is at the
There's also
center,
yeah.
and that's
It's
important. That's
background.
you know
You
that's
know.
important for me as a teacher. That's a
Oh,
good core to have.
okay.
But yeah, no, I hear that in everything that you talk about, every game that you talk about, and everything that you're doing with the cafe. So now, what's next with the convention?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. See, I'm wearing the convention clothes. I see. That's it, no when we started, we had no idea what would happen. It was just okay, guys. We convention. It didn't hold yesterday, yet last year, so we need to hold another one this year. How much do we need? Not calculated. So we will have 5,000. We can hold the convention, and we'll mark on the calendar that we held convention this year, right? And then it blew up. In 11 hours, we got funded. At first, I wonder if it was anxiety. No, like we not expect it. Femi, we were sitting here and it was happening. We were seeing it was happening. It's moving. Now plans changed. Plans were changing. We got to plans were changing. We got to this. We were fast. And Eric Lang, Aaron, everyone were supportive. No plans were. Why I'm saying this is that the convention is going to be good. I'm sorry if I'm giving too much information. We understand that the pandemic, everything. So we don't want to put it, pressurize anybody to attend, but what we want, uh, we've been funded, right?
Mhm.
We've said we were going to do this, so we want to do the best of what we can do. So,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited about what that best is, because we want to take this opportunity with all of this news, and people come into the cafe and like, whoa, want to now scale it, want to make it bigger. Like you come into the hall, I'll be like, whoa, and then you turn again and you say, whoa, and then you turn again. So that is what we are hoping for. It's difficult, honestly, it's difficult. It's taking a Femi and I in particular have been sick and we've recovered and we've continued work, right?
Mhm.
So that is what we are hoping for, to make it call off, get as much games, get it more organized, security, safety. We want we can see, and not just like we agreed before the recording. There are events before the event and after the event. So we also are looking at those things, making sure
Mhm.
that it works smoothly for people who want to, well, be part of it. And one of the things we are hoping comes out of this convention at the end is a network. We are very clear on that. This is the highest opportunity to start a network, because up until this convention, it was at most five designers. But this is more opportunities for not just designers now. We have content creators, we have retailers, we have more cafes. In fact, the last one, because the last one was in 2019, it was just one cafe, which is Nibi Card. But now we have three cafes, three more cafes. So we're
Wow.
hoping that we'll use this to start up the network and see where what the network does after this. And not just that, we're now connecting with other African stakeholders as well. And of course, we are funded to invite fully fund an African designer, which is still on the way. We are figure crossed for the visa, then we'll make announcement. But it has also giving us more links to talk to other people. We have the app called Awards, and
Mhm.
people can nominate, and it just two things. It doesn't, just like there are no awards, there are just awards. It doesn't bank on popularity or how much games is sold. If the person lives in Africa and if the person is working in Africa, and if their work is measurable, we don't just want to nominate someone who just for the love of games. No, we want to see what
Mhm.
that games is turning into. Either it's helping more people design more games, or like we say in education, it's helping promote learning in some ways, or it's
Right.
making money for the people. So that's what this whole thing has done for us, and we're looking forward to that network.
So the African Board Game Convention in Abuja, Nigeria on December 4th.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
So
December 4th.
we'll put all of that information in the vendor space so that you can go to Nibcard and you can go to the shop and see what games that they have and make a purchase and support. And we're going to make a plan to come to the African Board Game Convention. Not this year, because that's real soon, but
Yeah.
we're going to be there. We're going to be there. Um,
Ah, you will have a seat in the cafe. You will play some games.
Play some games. That's what we want. So, any advice for designers or people trying to bring community together?
Um, to be fair, most of the things I would say will come from my context. Right. What I always tell anyone who wants to design a game is just design it, and it's something I tell people here. I, you shouldn't compare games, and even if you want to, you should do it. It's risky. I just tell people that there is someone who will play your game.
Mm,
Like games are like movies, right? There are movies that I didn't even like 5 years ago, but I'm enjoying it right now. And there are movies I've watched over 50 times, and there are movies that I enjoyed 5 years ago. But I look at it and I'm like, what was I watching? Right? So any game, as long as one person played it, and the mechanics was moving, something was, and then if you've done the basics, there's graphics or there's illustration. Someone, it's just the marketing and the assets, to be honest, and then obviously the finishing touches, developers. But any concept, any idea you have, it's it's good. And I
Mhm.
think once designers recognize that it's good, it solves half of the problem because most times it comes from trying to compare. You can have ambition, obviously, but if you're a new designer, you shouldn't that it step by step. You should have ambition, you should, but your idea is valid. That's just basically it's something I tell people. So it's what I was again, it's for my context. I'm not sure if it's applicable somewhere else, but here your game someone will definitely play it. And for community, just start, just start. Now, one thing
Mhm.
people tell me is, how do I cope with trying to sell my own games and promoting other people's games and making other people's games? I'm like, why shouldn't I? Why not? This industry, even 100 companies cannot, is bigger than 100 companies. And Nibi Card is just one. And
Mhm.
and it's even started happening because we get a lot of data from what we do. We discuss them, right? There is a time people will be playing this particular game, and all of a sudden they don't want to play it again. They're looking for a new game. Now, if I force people to play my game, they'll get tired of playing my game and they want a different game. So it's more like, oh, do you want party games? These are party games. These are, and that way I even access my own games and all. So
Right.
if you want to set up a community, just set up one.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes. Yes.
Casey, it was lovely talking to you today. We
Thank you
learned
so
so
much.
much about Nib Card and the African Board Game Convention, and we are so proud of what you are doing and so glad to know you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for providing the platform, everyone. I'm actually looking forward to watch the convention, some part of
Yes,
it. I have
yes.
to save my data. So I'm
Oh,
looking forward to watch some of it.
okay. So you might be in the chat. So even though this is pre-recorded, he might be in the chat. So ask questions. All right. Thank you, Casey.